So,
Oh, yeah. Well,
I would like to call January meeting of the Batavia Township Board to order. And Mr. West, how would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And let's have the clerk to call the roll.
Paul Donick,
present?
Troy Trusonic.
Here.
John West,
Here.
Jennifer Zorn,
Here.
Lee Tracy.
Here. We'll have the minutes show also that Michelle Hilliard is with us this evening, and the road commissioner, Chris Long, and our videographer, Audrey Harpf.
And Van.
And Van is here too. Hello. Very good. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of actually it's the December meeting, not the November meeting. All right, so you have the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by Donna, seconded by Zorn. Are there any questions, additions, corrections?
I think it was a wonderful job,
Yes.
as usual. Done very competently. Clear, succinct, periods all where they should be, commas in place. Congratulations to the clerk.
Careful, he wants something.
The next clerk will not be nearly as good.
We'll have to fire him. Impeach him.
Let's get him to quit.
Can we pre-impeach?
Let's have the clerk call Let's have the clerk call the roll and approval of the minutes.
Donick,
Yes.
Trusonic,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. And the next item on the agenda is a supervisor's report, which you have. It simply reviews the bank accounts as of currently. I didn't check today, but it's pretty close to where it was on the 10th. We have a total of $1,156,900.97 in the bank. I just call attention to the budget reports. If our goal is to have 25% of the budget remaining, the general fund is not quite there, and the general assistance budget is zero. So we have some issues there. I want to bring your attention to kind of the schedule that's coming up, and that is the audit. We have two back audits that are doing, and so the one for the fiscal year 21-22 is completed and filed with the controller's office, and we will begin the one for the next fiscal year 22-23. The people from Sickage, the accountants, are going to be in here in a couple weeks for about 2 or 3 days to begin that. Our case with the Department of Human Rights is continuing. I will just let you know what the last word that the attorney gave me was. We responded to the complainant settlement demand on or about December 1st and have still not heard a response from the attorney, her attorney. As you're aware, he moves at his own special glacial pace. We also not yet received a decision from the Illinois Department of Human Rights. We anticipate it should be coming soon, given that the fact-finding conference took place in October. However, we have a new investigator, which slows it down. Therefore, we are just in a holding pattern with regard to that. I will let you know. We need to be aware that in March, I'd like to adopt a budget. There will be a budget hearing first. That notice is already in the Chronicle. As you know, the consolidated election takes place on April 1st, the annual town meeting on April 8th. the township meeting because the elected officials, we all don't take office until May 19th. So the May 13th meeting will be with this current group, the old group, and the township meeting of the newly elected officials will not take place until June. Does anybody have any questions
You
about?
say the notice is already in the product?
It will be in the Chronicle. You have a copy. The date that's going to be published, I think, is
February
February
6th.
6th.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions about any of that? No questions. Then we will move to the approval of the bills to be paid in, this is January, not December. I made a mistake, I have to admit. So, and you have the road fund bills and the general fund bills there before you. So can I have a motion to approve the payment of the road district bills in the total amount of $44,385.08?
For the road district?
That's the road district.
I second it.
Oh, we got a motion by
West.
Mr. West, seconded by Tucson. Any questions about any of the road fund bills? Apparently not. So let's have the clerk call the roll on the payment of the road fund bills.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
Yes.
Donnet,
Yes.
Tucson,
Yes.
Tracy.
Motion is passed. And we have bills,
Did you vote yes?
oh yes. We have bills for the general fund and the assessor's fund in a total amount of $82,118.66. So do we have a motion to pay the general fund and assessor's fund bills?
So moved.
Moved by Zorn, seconded by Donnet. Any questions about any of these? No? All right. Then let's have the clerk call the roll on the payment of the general and assessor's fund bills.
Zorn,
Yes.
Donnet,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tucson,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. And we don't have an assessor here for an assessor's report. I do know that they're progressing along. Among other things, they're going to have they're going to go to a free shredding event, and all the stuff that they want to get, documents that they're going to get rid of, they're going to do, I think, next week or this weekend. That's what it is. So, road commissioners report.
Well, it's starting to feel more like winter. We use a little salt, a little plowing. Equipment's working good, so we get them dirty and then we wash them, and then we get them dirty and then we wash them. It's into a routine. Any questions, anybody?
Any questions, road commissioner?
Start doing some tree trimming once it warms up just a little.
Okay.
Things are good.
Any trustee reports?
Not for me.
Nope. And we have no old business. The major new business, what I'd like to do is begin a discussion of the next fiscal year budget tonight, and then again in February, and then they will have a budget hearing in March and hopefully pass the budget on March 11th. What I'm going to suggest, there are some issues with regard to the budget. And what is this? I attempted to kind of summarize them. We need to fund, at least during this fiscal year, one more audit, and then we will have 2 more to do in the next fiscal year.
In this fiscal year?
No, next fiscal. Well, in other words, we need to do the audit for. We've done 21, 22. We need to do 22, 23. We need to do 23.
When's that going to be billed?
When is it going to be billed?
Next year, right? Not this budget.
No. I will. I think we can hold off paying for all of the rest of the audits in the next fiscal year.
Okay.
I will also mention that it will show up in the budget reports, but today Chris authorized payment for what we've already paid, the $23,000, half of it in essence out of the road fund. So that makes the budget reports look a little different.
Paid for what?
Pay for the audit. In other words, traditionally, and I had missed it, traditionally what we've done is to pay for half of the audit out of the road fund and half of it out of the general fund. So the budget reports for the general fund are wrong when it comes to accounting expenses, and then we'll correct them next month. But it won't be it won't be as bad as it looks now. Okay?
Excellent.
All righty.
So taking a step back, we're gonna
Okay.
pay $20,000 out of this next budget and then postpone the rest until future budgets.
Yeah.
Well, we paid 20-some
We've paid
this year.
We've paid $23,000 out of this current fiscal year.
Okay.
And we still need to do the 22-23 audit and the 23-24 audits, and then ultimately the one for this current fiscal year. And we'll pay for those probably out of the next fiscal year.
We'll have 2 years
Yeah,
worth.
yeah.
But maybe there'll be a little less money.
They should be
Once
less.
they get their feet on the ground.
Yeah. Well, there are all kinds of issues, and that is for the last one, and that is we transitioned payroll services, we transitioned QuickBooks, so we had to reconstruct a lot of the records, which we won't have to do again.
Yep.
Okay. All right. But we still have some, well, the main thing, let's see what I was going to say. We need to make some cuts. What I'm going to do, it makes this very simple. One of the things we could do, and I'd like to have some discussion on this, on our funding for social service agreements. Previously, before this year we went from $150,000 to $40,000. I want to entertain the possibility of eliminating it altogether in the next budget. So I'd like to have some discussion on that. That's an easy place to cut. Now, it's not popular, but so what do you all think about that?
I don't love it. I don't know where, where
It's
you
the
get it
biggest.
from.
It's the biggest chunk of money that can be easily eliminated.
Do we know what we're getting yet from, is it 2.5%
From what?
from the levy we asked for?
We don't know yet.
And we won't know until,
You will know soon. It's possible that we may exceed the tax levy, the PTEL, and so it may be less than we asked for. I will suggest that the good news is that I have projections on personal property replacement tax, and it's going to be, let me see what, yes. It's not nearly what we had previously, but the Batavia Township Road and Bridge will receive about $14,000, and the township will receive a little over $14,000. It has been closer to $40,000 or $50,000 in the past. So you can add that as income on top of the levy. But I think we still need to make some cuts. One of those could be our support for social service agencies. So am I,
Have we always paid those?
which,
Have we always paid social service agencies?
for a long time.
For years and years?
As long as I can remember.
And how much did we give last year?
$40,000. And then we cut from our previous spending the year before from $150,000 to $40,000.
And these are like the chip-ins
Excuse
and
me?
the.
We need to know
Yes,
more.
yes,
that
yes.
kind of stuff that we.
Yes, it's St.
okay.
Vincent de
Yeah.
Paul,
St.
Chapel
Vincent de
Street,
Paul. Yeah,
Chip
Chapel
in
Street.
Salvation Army.
That was-
There used to be,
right.
there used to be many more.
I think,
So for example, we're getting some very bad press from our lack of support for our SVP.
absolutely.
Because in their appeals for support, they said, we need more money because the township cut us. Now,
Yeah, but we only get so much, you know.
Right, right.
well,
So-
you can't, I mean, the main point is
Yeah.
you can't spend more than the levy.
Right.
There's only principal two sources of revenue for the township. There's a little bit more for the road district, but for the township, the only sources of revenue are property tax and the personal property replacement tax.
And that's probably the safest place to cut from, correct?
Yeah, unless somebody can have another notion.
Well, there's training and travel.
Well, there's a little bit of money there. Some other places that could be cut would be training and travel.
Are we gonna have a surplus in accounting services?
No,
We aren't.
no, because I'll spend it. We'll spend it on as they do the audit. I don't think there's gonna there.
Well,
The other thing is we do not have. In other words, what we should have is a reserve. And we've never budgeted a reserve. You end up at the end of the fiscal year with a carryover of money that hasn't been spent. There may be some. I'm sorry, did I answer the question?
There's gonna be a little carryover, I think, because there usually is maybe 14 or 15,000
Okay.
historically.
Well, if you look at the budget reports, you can see where it's gonna be. What I did, by the way, on the budget reports, there's a figure in a box, and that's my estimate of wages for the next 3 months. So, for example, I'm projecting that we'll have an additional $122,000 in wages during January, February, and March. So you can add that to where we are, what's remaining.
For 3 months, it's gonna be 122 grand.
Yep, well, it's pretty clear. If we're spending on average about $30,000 a month, 3 is 90, so it's something like that. I can, yeah.
I averaged out the whole year and it came out to about 25,000
$25,000 for what?
average for the last 9 months.
For.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out
No,
there. I'm
he's
not-
No, it's
about
more than
wages.
that, because
What's that?
Get all these together and divide it.
okay, you've got to,
A month and then times 3.
no, wait a minute,
Okay,
You've
okay.
got to combine 2 columns in the general fund and the assessor's fund.
Oh,
There are two columns, wages and payroll expense, and IMRF and health insurance.
Yep.
That's, you have to add those together.
Okay.
Oh,
So in other
Okay,
words,
so-
in other words, in December, we spent total payroll in the general fund
but it's still-
of 38,000 plus 8,000, or about, what is that, $46,000?
Yep.
So we have 108 remaining to cover 122 in costs by your estimate.
Yeah,
Well, hold on a minute. Out of the assessor's fund, they gotta pay wages and payroll column.
that is true.
So we can't.
In the
we can't-
assessor's fund, I figure that next, if you combine both, what's in the boxes, about $56,000. There's some carryover there.
Okay, so, just, I'm trying to understand this now. Hold on.
right.
Okay.
This is why we're doing this.
So the
talking
wage,
about this.
wage and payroll expense for general fund does not include the assessor's fund?
No,
Okay.
no.
So I.
What is included in the general fund is all of the elected officials, plus
Okay,
the office manager.
all right. And that's what the monthly payouts are for wages and payroll?
Yes,
Okay, so I took those 9 months and averaged them.
did you add both columns together?
What's both columns?
The column for wages and payroll expense and IMRF. Then there was one column is wages, the other one is
Okay.
IMRF, the cost of IMRF to the township.
I didn't add them together, but I averaged both columns separately,
Okay,
and it was 50-some thousand.
okay, well, what I did is, if I'm estimating additional expense by adding those things together, 122,000, we have remaining 108. If you add 34 and 74.
Why are the IMRF costs in the general fund all the same for the last 5 months, but payroll costs are not?
Because there are more than 2 payrolls in a month. The big ones are months in which there are 3 payrolls. In other words, everybody, most people, all the township officials,
That wasn't clear on that.
all this, okay,
And this column's
My
average.
question is,
So I did
these
that
are
for
all
all of these.
8571, but these are
I
not
came up with
all
this
the
as a
same.
total amount that we're gonna
Isn't
hold.
this a percentage of this?
Be- no,
Right.
because not everybody is an IMRF,
So this is-
and not everybody pays health insurance. Do we pay health insurance?
But to see health insurance, well, if health insurance varies, that makes it more surprising.
So, can I ask, to back up what you were saying then, did it drop from from July to August, the 9,652 to the 8,571? Was that because we lost some people for health insurance?
Yes,
That would make sense.
yes.
That's why it changed.
Yeah, look at the
So-
amount that changed.
Right, but no, what happened here was salary-wise for IMRF and health, we lost a person or two possibly.
We have
So
lost,
we didn't have to pay IMRF and
we have lost 2 people,
health on those
2
people.
virtually full-time people in the assessor's office.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I came up with a number, but this is the
General fund.
Oh, right,
Well, except that, yeah.
So you lose 2 people in the IMRF.
Well,
so it's
actually-
5,300 to 5,200.
Well, it's not quite.
I can't give you details. All I'm telling you is that
This is the-
this is
Right. And this is.
what we're reporting from our accounting as to what the expenses were each month.
There's 3 months left.
sorry.
So we're good. Yeah.
I mean, you can put a good estimate, I understand, it's not exact, when we know that.
These numbers are based upon payroll or in the most recent payroll, assuming that the payroll continues the same as currently. Yeah, again, you can, well, yes, plus you had salary increases effective at the end of the year. So we're paying people more. There were salary increases in the assessor's thing of rent, which I noticed, but and the road, well, that's the road fund, that's the other budget. The road fund's not in trouble. The two road fund budgets. Plus, you have to look in the budget. The next budget it will include significant increases for elected officials that you authorized.
Right, and that's why we asked for more money from the tax levy. Hopefully that will go through.
From what?
The levy.
tax levy.
The levy.
Yes, but, yeah.
2.5%.
We asked for max.
No,
That's the max, plus
the
new
max.
construction.
so,
So 2.5% is the max? Did you say?
That was the cost of living.
Oh, okay.
Is this what you're calling?
No, personal property
personally,
tax is
that
just
personal
new
property tax is
construction.
completely different.
That's stuff that has not been under tax rolls yet. So you take that times your tax rate. So I gave you a number on that.
Yes. The tax levy is what it is.
Right.
So if we can't spend more than we levy, and the budget goes over, what do?
You can't.
You can't go.
So we gotta get the money from
Then you have to
somewhere.
revise the budget.
So we can move over up to 10% in the general fund from other columns only, right?
Well,
Line item, well, I'm just trying to
Yes.
figure it out.
Right,
man.
right,
If we get $1 million and we spent $1,010,000,
Yes, so
we gotta
that-
get 10 grand from somewhere to pay the
Right.
bills. Where do we get it?
Right.
Or don't we? I'm just asking.
what? You have to, the budget has to balance at the end of the
Right.
fiscal year.
Is there a limit? I'm gonna follow up with your question that didn't get answered. Is there a limit that you can take from a line item to and move it to another line item? Are you stuck at a certain percentage, or can you move all of it, or how does that work?
10% of the fund.
10% of the fund.
So 601.9, that's so you can take 60,109, 60,190 total you could move.
Yeah, if you wanted to balance the budget, we need to move money in order to, we're in the hole on legal expense right now,
Yeah.
okay?
And we get that, and I understand. I'm just
So
trying
you-
to figure
so-
out.
Right.
If we're over by 10 grand, we can't be. So where does it come from?
That's why I'm saying, do you want to eliminate social service agreements?
I think we're gonna have to.
Yeah,
Now,
Well, hold on a minute. We've spent those for this year, haven't we?
right.
Yes.
Are we
Yes, it's done.
addressing?
Next year.
this is the next budget we're talking
Okay.
about.
But this budget, are we gonna have enough money in this budget? to
Right, that's
Yes,
what I'm.
Even?
Yes,
We are.
yes.
Okay.
Is there gonna be a carryover on this budget?
Some, but not too much.
Okay, because I
And I
guess,
would like to increase the carryover. In other words, if you look at this, there's gonna be, I'm not sure, I can predict where the carryover is. There's gonna be a carryover in the general fund in dues, travel, and training, because we're not gonna spend any more. But we're already overspent in legal expenses by more than what's left. So that's not gonna do us any good.
killing us.
And, you know, the budgeting for Ride and Gain is difficult because there's a huge lag between what we get billed for. You'll end up in the next fiscal year paying for Ride and Gain bills that are really coming in this fiscal year because we don't get them. There is a possibility that we could reduce legal expenses by no longer using outside lawyers. We could say that Lee Tracy and Van Morrison are going to take care of everything for the rest of the current. We don't need any other lawyers.
But you have to pay Van.
He's already paid.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
You lost me on that one. If you and Van go to the next hearing, Van's already paid for that?
Well, he's paid a retainer, right?
It just means that he makes his services available to us. He'll still charge us for work that he does for us, I assume.
Okay. Or I'll go to the hearing without legal defense.
Well, we kind of have to know what their reply is and what the decision is. So you're kind of stuck on that one.
No, I mean,
They have to make a decision and then,
what we have told them is that we're not paying a penny.
well, that doesn't mean we're not going to, but
Well, that's
We
okay.
have told them means the township has told.
There was an offer. Okay, this is really
this isn't something we should be
this,
talking
this
about.
is this
No.
this is really a
No.
closed session.
Yes.
Yep, yep. I can we?
But at any
No,
rate,
it's not you.
No.
When is the next installment of
For
that
what?
saga?
Uh,
When would we incur?
we don't know. It's on hold. Might not be for months.
There's not a current bill outstanding.
There's no bill.
We'll get through the next 3 months without a bill.
God, I hope
It's
not.
possible, at the rate it's going.
So you're suggesting that this budget is good and we're gonna be covered, or there's gonna be a little bit of carryover, we don't know what it is. Could be $1,000, could be 15, we don't know, but it's not gonna be anything extraordinary.
No,
Right, so what we gotta be concerned with is the next budget.
that's what we're doing now.
Okay, that's fine.
Get a preliminary estimate of it.
Okay,
And work
so
on it.
I would like
Yeah.
to make a suggestion.
Okay.
If there is some sort of carryover, maybe we can do a partial payment to fund one of the audits, the 22-23 audit. Maybe it's $5,000 off of it or whatever to get some of this $40,000 off the budget for next year. If there's a possibility of being able to pay $2,000 or whatever,
Yeah,
if we have
yes, we can do that.
if we have a little bit of a surplus, maybe, you know,
It makes sense.
Does it make a difference if we pay it this year with money that we get, or we save the money that we get and pay it
What-
next year? Doesn't it come down to the same bottom line?
it is the same bottom line, however, they're telling us we need to find this kind of money right here for next year's budget. And we're cutting all this stuff, so. That's why I'm saying if we can cut some of that $40,000 off down, cut it down a little bit, that helps, every little bit helps, right?
What we don't have, what we don't pay carries over to the next budget.
But you need to have a starter sheet like that new, right?
Yeah.
You got that?
Well, that's what that's
What you working on?
that's what I gave you. Well, no, I didn't. I gave you Yes, I did.
Guess I didn't print it off.
I don't think we have the 25, 26 ones.
Yes, we do.
Do we?
Yes, the budget for mental health is $483,000. The current fiscal year is $462. I'm suggesting that general assistance, I would like to increase and add $3,000 to administrative expense, $13,000, and to restore emergency assistance so that we have a total budget of, instead of for this year, $18,683 to $26,000. And I'm suggesting that that's what these,
So what we see in red is what you suggest
yes.
for next year?
Right.
yeah, yes.
What are these numbers in black that are below that?
That's simply to check my math. In other words, if you take these numbers and add them all up, this is an Excel spreadsheet, then I prove that what the figure I have here is in fact adding those things
It
together.
was here, yeah.
Thought I printed everything out, but I guess I didn't. Shit, man.
And
Use
let's,
this one. You can write on this.
then I'm suggesting in general assistance, we prepare to use from the general fund budget money to increase the general assistance payments. That's so that the levy for general assistance for next year is $16,000.
Right.
And so I'm suggesting in order to get to a budget of $26,000, we take from the general fund budget
How much carry
that amount of
over,
money.
how much money you're getting in. You need to know those two things to start. This we know.
So these are preliminary budget figures.
I think this,
What?
it's a little fussy thing, but this should be 25, 26, right?
No, below. This is 25, 26.
Oh.
This is the current year, this is the next year.
16.
So you can play with the math, but the big question is, we can project that we need to make some cuts from this year to next year in order to create a budget for the next fiscal year.
So we're gonna get at least as much money from taxes this year as we got last year, right? So we have 601 was budgeted last year, 549 is budgeted, 601 for this year, 549 for next year. That's like $52,000.
The levy also is attached somewhere. Okay, there's the levy that we're asking for, which we don't know whether we're going to get it or not. So the tax levy ordinance for 25-26 for the is a total for not the road fund, not the road district, but the township. It includes a total levy of $1,424,000. That's what we've asked for. In the levy, we've said for the assessor, the levy is $293, and for the supervisor's office, the rest of it is $632. In other words, that's the levy. So I think that's what I built into those questions, into that information.
Okay, I missed something there. 1,424,000 is the total mental health is out there. Okay.
Yes.
still a little confused. So we levied $601,000 for this year, and we're levying $549 for next year.
Those numbers wouldn't include any carryover. At least the first number.
601,000. What was the carryover last year? Do you have that figure?
I don't know.
Find this page.
Okay, so what this says is that the levy for the general fund is $632,000. I'm suggesting we use only $549,000, and we use the rest to create a reserve and to add to the general assistance.
Okay.
Sorry, it's right there.
So, I'm looking for some sort of,
So,
in building the budget, which we needed to adopt in March. In order to do a balanced budget, I'm suggesting that we need to do a combination of things. Possibly reduce social service agreements, possibly eliminate travel and training, TOI events, dues, and that sort of thing.
so let me ask one more thing about the $40,000 reserve budget. I think there should be a reserve. But if we have to get money from somewhere, could that be cut to 30 or 20?
Oh, yeah, we cut to whatever you want to cut it to. It's zero. So far,
No, I don't want zero. I want to build
Okay.
a reserve. I mean,
All right,
we
fine.
should have something, but
Exactly.
Well, you're
But-
thinking,
but hold on a minute.
Okay.
But- So, say we got 400,000 in reserve. Our levy is 1.5 million. We can't spend more than the levy. So if we're short,
Well,
we
you
can't
know-
even take out of the
Yes,
reserve.
yes, you can.
We can?
Yeah, sure. Of course you can.
Well, I have-
The
I thought
levy,
you
the
just said
levy
we-
is new money. The
Okay.
reserve is old money that you're saving.
So the
So
reserve
it's
is
just like,
that little buffer. You can go over what you get
It's-
one year and maybe under what you
it's,
get
it's
next
just,
year.
it's just like your budget. Yeah, it's just like your budget at home.
I do, but I have big expenses, so,
Right.
Yeah, if you plan to get a new truck,
yeah,
you gotta save in order to do that.
yeah.
In order to take a vacation, you may need to save money. In order to buy a new car, you may need to save some money. Or we're gonna buy a new house. Oh, we gotta save some money.
So if we don't cut social services at all, then that knocks down your reserve from 72 to
Correct.
32.
correct.
But there's still a reserve.
I don't know what the reserve is yet.
Well, I'm just using the figures that I'm reading
Right.
in front
Okay.
of me here. I mean, I think I would prefer to do that than establish a big savings account, because we're saving.
Yeah, we can do that.
Bottom line is you need to know,
So you're saying to take the 40 out of that, use it for social services
Don't know that
and
yet.
Same,
For sure.
the same
He's
social
gotta find
services we
out.
funded last
before you
year,
worry about
fund
what you're
next
gonna
year.
spend.
Then
Yeah,
we're gonna have that much less
and
in our
they're coming up
savings
with that
account, so
soon.
to speak, but
Right.
if we have a
We've
savings
already,
account,
with the
why
levy,
have it?
we have to
Right, right.
assume that we're gonna get what we asked for. We may not, and then we're gonna have to adjust. Right?
why would you assume that?
Why would we not assume that we've levied appropriately?
I'll stay out of it.
Problem is you have to pass it, you have to adopt a budget before you know how much you're gonna get.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that's
You
hard
gotta
to
do
do
it.
if you don't know what figures you're dealing with.
But you say we're gonna know shortly, right?
Nope, we're not gonna know, I
We're not
don't
gonna know
think, I
before
don't think
March.
I don't think we're gonna know before March.
But you'll know the cost of living.
Yeah,
So you can take last year's times the cost of living, that'll tell you the increase.
And add new construction, yep.
that's in essence what I did.
Okay.
Okay, well, we can certainly talk,
Well-
about the whole process, but what I'm essentially saying is that I believe that in building the budget, we're going to have to eliminate things we're doing now.
Right.
And I want to know what we're going to eliminate or reduce,
Well, travel and training for sure, I think.
okay?
But like Walt said with the social services, I mean, maybe take that for what you have for this budget to create the reserve,
Okay, well, let me suggest
I
that
don't know, up to you.
I will refine some figures,
Okay.
and we can continue the discussion next month.
And I would also just like to point out, was Tammy involved in her budget numbers here for dues and training only because?
She has not been involved in this at all.
Okay. I know because I hold the license myself, there is continuing education that you have to take every year.
I understand
So,
that.
so we just need to make sure that we can't
Amount.
take her education budget away because that's something,
How about if we have people pay it out of their own pocket?
No.
You don't want to do that, huh?
No.
Okay. No, okay. No, that is true. I don't know what it is. She's gonna have to tell me.
right, that's why I was
Yeah, we
asking
got-
if she had any input into that, so,
She has a proposed budget.
okay.
This is different than her proposed budget, because she was proposing a budget that exceeded the levy.
Where is it? Where's her budget?
She presented it at some point.
Yeah.
I have it someplace.
Well, if these figures are accurate, she's gonna have plenty of money left over just right in her wages and payroll. If she only needs $56,000, she's got 57 just in wages and payroll, with another 19 in IMRS.
There's a whole nother question, is I have no idea what she's doing
Right.
in terms of wages for the next
That's,
fiscal
we
year.
need to make sure that we are talking to her about that
Yeah.
project too.
Why isn't she here?
It's a good question. Okay,
Well, this is a lot of information for,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
To-
information.
get all
Take it.
done in a meeting tonight, and we're gonna have to look at it and probably throw you some suggestions, or,
Yeah, I would.
you know what
I
I'm
would-
saying, and get closer by next month.
I think so.
Yep,
It's steps that we're gonna get closer and closer.
Right.
I will also say, though, there's
Yep,
been legal costs that we didn't know about and that you didn't know about.
there's several
Okay,
things.
that's it.
There's accounting costs and there's legal
and the
costs.
extra costs for the
You know,
audits.
our audit used to be done for $8,000 a year. So far, 1 year cost us 23.
I just want to get that out there
yeah.
on
Yeah.
record.
Okay. So, we will provide some more information, and we'll work with Tammy to provide some more information on the assessor's budget. Oh,
That sounds good.
Yep.
sounds good?
Yep.
There'll be some hard choices, definitely,
Thank you
for
very
sure.
much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh,
we'll all work together, Lee.
we'll all
That's my vision.
Yeah,
Grab an oar.
yeah,
grab an oar
Grab an oar.
as the boat is sinking. No,
Well, the
the
boat's
vote,
not gonna sink.
the vote is not, I mean,
There's only been,
it
there's only been
looks,
3 supervisors in 60-some years, and it's not gonna sink on,
On your shift, huh?
I didn't say my shift.
Well, you know, if you have $1,156,000 in the bank, you're not sinking.
Right.
So since you brought that up, we got MMA funds. I project we're gonna have
What?
max account funds in the bank.
What?
400,000 we got in the bank. Not but, that's what we got.
I'm sorry,
It's
what-
on your list here.
Yes, there are two.
There's 2
There's
accounts.
two-
He has one and we have one.
Yes, and what we do is we move money back and forth so that there's enough money. We're paying bills out of the road fund and general fund checking accounts. And we have to move money from the interest bearing, higher interest bearing accounts into those funds in order to pay bills.
Correct. And we still have money in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you guys just told me a minute ago, if we're hurting, we could take some of that money and pay our bills. Is that what you told me?
What money?
If we're over the budget?
Yeah, you have to be aware of the fact, however, that we don't get the tax money. Until September.
I know, I understand
Okay.
that.
So you gotta get.
So that's like the carryover for the months
Yeah.
that we're paying for that we don't have. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Any other business to come before us? I know where we're going. I got a feel. But you can all make suggestions. Keep making
Right.
suggestions. Okay.
Yep. Sorry, hold on.
Anything else?
Oh, it's no problem.
If not, then let's ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.